Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and CNN is doing anything it can to deflect from the Charlie Kirk assassination, and Scott Jennings isn't going to let that happen. Let's dive in.
He's got a point.
Well, I think his point would be strengthened if he were honest today about who burned his house down. You know, it was a Free Palestine leftist who came and burned down the governor's mansion. He left that out. He left that out of his tweet today, and he's talking about cherry-picking political violence, and we're talking about where there might be political violence. The violence against the governor of Pennsylvania and his family came from the left. And so I think there's a rush by Democrats who want to be president in 2028 to try to turn. Somehow Donald Trump's friend gets shot, and now everybody wants to blame Donald Trump for it. I guess that's what you have to do to get elected president as a Democrat.
We are not doing that sitting here, okay? And Kate,
I'm
please
sorry.
go ahead.
Is that not what's happening?
The governor's point is that it doesn't matter where the violence came from.
I think it might.
Should be condemned.
Shouldn't it matter the motivations of the people?
It should be condemned regardless. Is the entire point of his speech.
Don't you care about the motivations?
To sit here and suggest that somehow him not mentioning it was some sort of sleight of hand,
of course it is.
Try to make it seem like it was.
I don't think his political party would accept it.
You missed the entire point of what he was saying, and it's a message that's badly needed in this country at this moment.
Look, I think that if we cannot be honest, if I were him and somebody tried to burn my house down, I think I'd be honest about who did it and why they did it. And it would matter for people to know that, would it not?
Scott, is this not a let's rise above because anyone that is committing an act of political violence who is trying to kill someone else for what they believe in, it's like it is inherently wrong and awful?
Why are your two impulses mutually exclusive? Why can't we all say all political violence is bad, which I wholeheartedly believe, and also be honest when people have clear intentions? I think there's a difference between people that have clear intentions and, clearly deranged people. But in the case of Shapiro, and I think in the case of Charlie Kirk, we know the intentions, the political intentions of the people at play. And when we sort of skirt around it and we're not honest about it, we let it off the hook. And I don't think we should let people with clear political intentions to commit violence off the hook. And so I like what he said about condemning violence. I just would like it a little more if we could just be a little bit honest about what happened at his house.
You would just like it if a politically critical message was applied to what he was trying to say. I mean, that's what you're saying, right? You're saying you like what he said in condemning political violence across the board, but it didn't work for you because you didn't try to get in a dig at whose fault it was. The entire point is that we have to condemn political violence from all sides, in all stripes, in whatever form. And I think the fact that we are sitting here even having this conversation is deeply problematic in terms of where the temperature is in the country right now. I think the fact that you would call him dishonest.
I agree that it is problematic that a prominent Democrat cannot be honest about who tried to burn his house down. I totally agree with you.
That last panelist might have had an actual point there, because if we're measuring temperature, all right, if we're talking about rhetoric and we're measuring the temperature, right now conservatives are running 99, 100 degrees, so we're a little bit warm right now. The Democrats, on the other hand, seem like they're around the temperature of Fahrenheit 451. And yes, I picked those numbers on purpose. I'm going to give you a small example of the worst political rhetoric I see on the right. And I'll see it every now and then, and it's lock 'em up. It's talking about Adam Schiff or Hillary Clinton saying these people need to be locked up. That's about it. On the other side, I'm seeing on Democrat panels, and I'm seeing this on Facebook of all places. I'm hearing, I'm glad he's dead. The children are better off without him. And yay, who's next? I think these panelists all know what they're doing. They all know that, oopsie, we have been enabling really bad rhetoric because we keep on spewing only a small portion of the news and assuming the way everyone thinks is, and they're assuming that everyone's just going to take them at their word. Yeah, the mainstream media is culpable to some degree. And the reason you have to come to that conclusion is because this whole panel is trying to deflect and deny reality. They want to bring up the Minnesota lawmaker who was shot assassination style. by a man who had lost his mind. Turns out that dude had a lot of ties to Tim Walz, and in his own rambling manifesto talked about the need for Tim Walz to become senator. Then with the Shapiro, Governor Shapiro out in Pennsylvania, part of the governor's mansion was set ablaze by a Free Palestine supporter. All right, this is something that the left has never been able to come to terms with, at least here in America. The left isn't really that far to the left of the political spectrum, which I'm very thankful for. No one deserves to live in a truly leftist government. They don't have an understanding of what I call the anarcho left. These are your punk rockers. These are your people that occasionally, for out of every 100 of them, you'll actually find a based person or two. You'll find someone that actually does believe in the deepest realms of human freedom can be reached and can be used properly. And these anarcho-leftists, they can get crazy every now and then. Because if they don't reach the base levels, they'll often get stuck in the Free Palestine and the pro-Hamas nonsense. These are the leftists that are coming to the schools, are going crazy. And occasionally you'll find a based one out of all of them, but it's very rare. What does this have to do with this panel? Well, this panel doesn't understand the way those people think. Because they're so used to their own bubble. This is the rich, white, liberal bubble. As a matter of fact, it's the affluent, white, female, urban, liberal bubble right here. And Scott Jennings is bursting that bubble. And he needs to. He needs to because CNN does not understand that they accidentally enable bad rhetoric when they refuse to help start policing the language on the other side. But the truth is, it's too late. It is too late for the left here in America to some degree because they've pushed this ball down a hill and they're wondering why it's careening out of control. Okay? You took the guardrails off, you pushed a boulder, and now it's rolling away, and now it's threatening to do some real damage. This is what happens when everyone says that, oh, I might be a snowflake, but together we're an avalanche. Okay, an avalanche, huh? A force of wanton destruction that does nothing good for the world? Is that really the direction you want to go with this? Unfortunately, it is. They love this rhetoric. It's red meat to them. And the worst part is they fantasize about the kind of things that they could do to you. This is not a joke. This isn't even a warning. This is just sort of settled at this point. We have come to expect this. We have seen the people react. We have seen people celebrate. And it's time for a few consequences. It's time for people to learn that we can't have a country where people are spewing this sort of nonsense on a regular basis. And that's why about 1,000 people have lost their jobs over their posts about how wonderful it is that Charlie Kirk is no longer with us. And these people in this panel don't understand what they have been doing. Simply put, this has been the game plan for them. Throw red meat to one side, and then slowly back away, and just wonder why there's blood and gore everywhere. They're the ones that started it. They're the ones that keep enabling it. And now, if you don't enable the beast, it'll climb out of its enclosure and go after the nearest thing that it can. The nearest thing happened to be Charlie Kirk. Scott Jennings is doing his best to try to get these people to realize the damage that they've done. They'll never admit it, but I think they know. They know, and they know that they have no other choice now. This is where we're at. And it is awful. I'm not sure how our country survives when, again, the temperature on one side of the room is 100 degrees, the other is at 451, the temperature at which paper burns. Funny how it all winds up. But let me know what you think down in the comments below, if I'm just being doom and gloom, or if there is a great big beautiful tomorrow. Just let me know what you think down in the comments. My name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one.